really starts to annoy me because Durgo is basically the same type of person as Han Solo or Malcolm Reynolds. He's a semi-legal, sometimes legitimate, sometimes not, sort of guy who carries freight, flies by the seat of his pants, only has time to keep himself afloat barely, and...
Captain of a mining shuttle?
These are basically the prissy people who have everything handed to them, and they're the ones telling him how he ought to operate. And in this episode, they're right, because the writer says they're right.
Yeah, guys, it's real easy to lecture when all your basic needs are met every day without you even having to think about it.
Or as my own favorite captain would say,
the trouble is Earth.
Really?
On Earth, there is no poverty, no crime, no war. You look out the window of Starfleet headquarters and you see paradise. Well, it's easy to be a saint in paradise.
It only peaks when we move towards the water. Durgo, move toward the fountain. Durgo!
God, I hate that little shit.
Now, the sentry first appeared when you used your phaser. That means it could respond to heat or collineated energy.
If you're right, we can use a phaser to lure it away.
We need to know what we're dealing with before we do anything.
No, enough talking, enough thinking. It's time to do something. When I start firing, you better do your part.
Captain Picard said I'm in charge. And the ball lightning thing kills Durgo by she-lobbing him. Back in space, again, the Enterprise tries to increase speed. Again.
Warning. Radiation levels at 300 millirads per minute and rising. Lethal exposure in 1 minute.
I love how precise this radiation thing is, and it's just a matter of we have so many seconds left until we're going to die from radiation.
Because if you go up to the 5-second mark, you have no ill effects whatsoever. But past it, oh yeah, you're gonna die. So it's either live and be perfectly fine, or die in a horrible festering pool of your own pus. Okay.
And of course the Enterprise succeeds with just a few seconds to spare, and they manage to Superman 4 the barge into the sun.
Your own creation destroyed you.
And Wesley, of course, now has his tender moment with the possibly dying Captain Picard.
Do you remember when we took the shuttlecraft together to Starbase 515? You opened up to me. Sir, I'm honored that you wanted me along.
How selfish. Thought I wouldn't see you again.
So Picard wanted to spend more time with Wesley. Wanted to, of his own free will. No, the man's delirious. He's gotta be.
In the past 3 years, I've lived more than most people do in a lifetime. How many people get to serve with Jean-Luc Picard?
Well, Wesley, your dad got to serve with him too.
All of the things that I've worked for. School, my science projects, getting into the academy. I've done it all because I want you to be proud of me.
The Enterprise makes it back to the system where Picard was supposed to be, and they find the debris from the shuttle. They go to the nearest moon, which for some reason all the other search parties have skipped, and start to look for the crashed shuttle.
Where are we?
We crashed, sir. We're in a cave.
Need water.
Sir, we don't have any water.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is in case you were in the can for the first half of the movie.
Someone who meant a great deal to me. Someone you must get to know. His name is Boofby.
Might I add right now that it's really not logical for Picard to assume that Wesley's going to get off this planet and make it to the Academy anyway?
Picard is encouraging Wesley to keep up hope as long as it can be, while at the same time, Troy is encouraging Crusher to weep and already give up her son as a dead man prematurely.
That's Troy! And now Picard starts getting weepy. Apparently he was always proud of Wesley.
Matt, you want me to run some clips for you?
Sir, maybe I should get something to wipe this water up.
Good idea.
You're not too comfortable with me. I understand.
What's wrong with giving me the orders to do it?
Wesley?
I haven't stepped 1 foot on your bridge, Captain.
Please don't interrupt me, Wesley.
I'm sorry, sir.
On the Enterprise, Mr. Crusher, nothing just happens.
Why are you coming with me to Starbase 515, sir?
Well, it's certainly not my idea. Get off the bridge, both of you. But shut up, Wesley.
Always proud of Wesley. And now it's time for Wesley to save the day. And of course, Wesley manages to trigger the
Force field ball lightning dinget?
He pushes some buttons on his tricorder, apparently learning everything he needed to learn and doing some mystery thing. You know, the only thing worse than when they prattle on and on with their stupid technobabble is when they use technobabble, but they don't even talk about it. This is technobabble pantomimed. And he wins!
Of course he wins! Because he's Wesley stinking Crusher and he's the creator's pet.
So now Picard has some water, which is able to keep him alive for some reason, despite his internal bleeding, and he survives long enough for help to come from the Enterprise.
What are you doing in such a filthy uniform?
Dirty boy! Dirty boy!
And that's Final Mission. Yeah, I think off-screen Kim and I already covered what's bad about this episode. It's everything bad about Wesley in a nutshell. Even someone like me who doesn't find Wesley so objectionable really couldn't stand him in this one. This episode was like a posthumous love letter to everything Gene Roddenberry thought Star Trek ought to be, which is almost completely wrong. The only people allowed to be wrong are the non-regular people, despite what they might actually have to say. The story with the Enterprise was boring and obvious filler, and they missed a prime opportunity to make this a real interesting lesson for Wesley Crusher. To see two different leaders. Not that one's right and one's wrong, but that one is the educated, knowledgeable person who understands tactics and the finer points of leadership, and the other understands pragmatism and necessity and how to get by your wits and by the skin of your teeth and luck. This could have been a good story where Wesley learns about leadership from both people. Instead, of course, we waste it and have to just give a blowjob to Picard and therefore Wesley as well, since Wesley wants to be Picard.
Well, that episode really sucked, but at least we're finally done with Wesley running Crusher.
Well, kind of.
What do you mean, kind of?
Well, this was the end of Wesley as a regular character, but unfortunately Wesley Crusher came back for several guest star appearances.
What?
Well, Wesley is going to come back again, but he's done as a regular. This is his finale as a regular character.
No. You told me that we were done with Wesley Crusher. You told me we were going to do the departure of Wesley Crusher. So you are going to sit here until you do the departure of Wesley Crusher. Got it?
So as usual this time for yourselves, but as for me, I'm calling First Duty POS TNG. We'll be back with the last episode of Wesley Crusher for real next time. Very soon. Immediately.
It must have been cold there in my shadow to never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine, that's your way. You always walked a step behind. So I was the one with all the glory, while you were the one with all the strength. A beautiful face without a name for so long. A beautiful smile to hide the pain. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I wish I could be. I could fly higher than an eagle.
But
shut up, Wesley.